So tallow, here we go. This is the finished product, okay, right here. And you can crack the lid and you can see, it's so neutral in flavour, but that depends on two things. First of all, wet or dry method, which one are you going to choose? I have another video on the channel called Whipped Tallow. That is the dry method of rendering, slow cooker. Here's the short version, the Cliff Notes. Wet method, very slow cook with water. Dry method, very slow cook, no water. The other decision you've got to make is whether there's meat, bits of meat attached to the fat. That makes all the difference in terms of taste. So for me, I love it both ways because I eat fat crackle, beef crackle, right? So that's bits of beef with bits of fat that I cook in the air fryer, and it helps me increase my fat each day because I'm doing high fat carnivore. But if I want to use it as butter on bread, I don't necessarily want it to taste like beef, because if I'm having tea and toast, like a ham sandwich, like ham, some nice sliced ham on a piece of toast, my whole egg bread is a game changer. I don't want it to taste like beef. So this is why I wanted to try the wet rendering method, which is what this video is all about. I meticulously took every bit of meat off, and I made sure from the butcher I got Wagyu fat. Now that's because I've heard different things about Wagyu fat, how great it is. Wanted to try it for myself. And yes, I can attest, very soft, very neutral, no flavor. But if you're going to render fat down with meat attached to it, it is going to taste like beef, which is fine if all you're doing is cooking with it, no problem. I'm going to whip it as tallow, and I also want to use it as skincare. Now, to do that, I do not want my face and my hands smelling like beef. So there we go. We have to find a way to do it without, and it's amazing. And my daughter, who's uber fussy, uber fussy, she tasted it from this method that I'm going to show you today in this video is the wet rendering method, super low heat with water. She tasted it and she was like, Mum. So that was huge. That was a huge response for her. Might not sound that huge to you, but that was a big response. My son said it was good. I haven't given it to my husband yet because he's really not into, look, I'm having a bad hair day, but I showed up anyway, okay? Just letting you know I'm having a bad hair day. Anyway, which is why I stuck it up in a little... Anyway, rendering tallow. I highly recommend it. If you're going to whip tallow, this is the way to go. Wet method, yes, it's a little bit of extra work. 2 purifying steps. Well, 1 rendering step, 1 purifying step, depending on how clean your tallow, your beef fat is. So, I mean, quality of fat and all of that is important too. So anyway, I go through the steps for you. It's really quite simple. Get some fat, cut it up into the smallest bits you can. Get it ground from the butcher if you can do that. Throw it with some water into a slow cooker and let it render out for however many hours. The first time, I don't know, give it 6 to 8 hours. Second time, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And then you can melt it slowly. I didn't need to do that, but I did it in the video to show you how. So that you can pop it into pots if that's what you need to do with it. I'm actually whipping it up. So, and I'm making moisturizer and whipped tallow bites out of it, flavored, that I will flavor. So I didn't really need to do that. It can be all crumbled up, or it can be in a block in your mixer, and it'll just whip it up. So enjoy the video and let me know how you go. I'd love you to make a comment, say hi, share the video, thumbs up would be awesome. But just say hi, that would be great. All right, enjoy. Okay, so let's source your fat. All I wanted to show you here in this first step is just get some fat. This first fat on the left has got a lot of beef in it, and I have a video showing you how I prepped that block of fat. The fat on the right had very little, and I will show you that in this video. That's the Wagyu fat I used in this video. But just get some fat and ask all the questions of your butcher when you do that. Using this sunbeam, let's turn it on. I'm going to go to slow cook, and I'm going to leave it on low. I'm going to press start, and 8 hours is good. I'm going to add the wet rendering method is adding water. So I'm going to add 2 cups to in here. It's on slow cook. This is for the sous vide. So don't worry about that, but I'm going to chop up my tallow now and add it in, and I'll show you that. So step 2 is about cutting it small. And what you'll want to do here is remove every single bit of meat if you don't want a meat smell or a meat taste. That's the reality. So, and that was my goal here, because I'm using this particular rendering and purifying for skincare and for whipped tallow bites. And I've got whipped tallow bites that I use the dry method for, and there is a slight beefy taste, but it sort of goes away in your mouth after a while. You don't really, after you start eating them. But I wanted to see if I could make it without any beefy taste at all. So that's why, if you want that, you must get rid of, see that bit of beef? You've got to take it off. Now, those bits of beef on the left, I am not going to waste those. Don't you worry about that. That's going to be added to my meals. And I use those like almost like a condiment with a meal to add, you know, some fat. So I just want to show you skincare. So I just, all that Wagyu fat, even in its melty form, in its soft form, I just rubbed it all in. It's incredible, absolutely incredible for moisturizing your skin. So this is me just showing you, that's the leftover bits that I will pop in a baggie in the fridge, and that will be in a meal for me, added to a steak or something. And now I've got to get that into the slow cooker, but doing this one-handed with the camera isn't easy. So in the next shot, you'll actually see it in the slow cooker. And there it is. It's set on 8 hours on low. You can play around with low and high, and off it goes. Okay, so this is what we have. All of this, I'm going to tip it in here and strain it out. I'm going to use a nut milk bag, but you just use whatever you've got, cheesecloth, whatever you need. It doesn't fit exactly, so I've got to get it into there. Now remember, there's water in here too. And I will use this for cracklings. Okay, it's empty. I'll wash that out because I'm going to do it all again. That's going in the fridge. Okay, so this is the yield of what happened, and I was seeing how soft it was. And this is how much collagen, and I'll show you. They're all the crackles, beef crackles that I'm going to, Wagyu beef crackles that I am going to cook in the air fryer. They're going to be delicious with meals. So more fat will come out of that. But this is this is the unit that goes inside my slow cooker and my sous vide. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to separate the disc from the water, and I'm going to melt it again. Whoa, there you go. Now, nice thin disc. This is Wagyu fat. Not much impurities, but I'll scrape that and I'm going to pop it back in here. So, and you can see by the water that it's yeah, it doesn't smell like anything. It's awesome. Woo! Oopsies. All right, let me, oh, it's very soft. One moment. Just going to take perhaps a long knife like this, and I'm just going to scrape that. It still looks pretty plain to me, but I will use that. All right. So, I'm going to now I'm going to purify this with some salt and water. Okay. Going to add two teaspoons of salt, and I might add a bit more. I'm going to pop all this back in. I think doing all this, I'm not doing it for 1 kilo next time. I'm going to do it for a lot more. I might do 3 kilos. Now, actually, the reason I'm doing all this is for skincare. I don't want to smell like beef. So, there's no smell. Yay! Yay! All right, now I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay, now it's in there. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to put it on slow cook on high because low goes nowhere fast. And then I'm gonna, 4 hours is, no, 3 hours. Start. Put the lid on. And we'll check back in on it. Okay, nice and melty. It's been 38 minutes. I might let it go for another half an hour and then I will pop it in the bowl again. So I've got a bowl here waiting. I'll pop it in the bowl and refrigerate it and then it should be good to go. Okay, so I've added salt to get the impurities out. We're going to pour that into here and refrigerate it one more time. But look, it's pretty pure. This is a slightly smaller bowl, which is why it looks fuller. It's going, I'll let that cool and then it's going in the fridge. All right, second pressing and push the disc up and it feels a little firmer. Just got to release it. There it is. And look at that, it's actually firmer. Look how crystal clear that water is. Wow, look at that. The salt pulled all the impurities out and look at it. Smell? No smell. This, no smell. See how there's no impurities left? We are good to go. Now we've got to remelt it and put it in whatever vessel we want. Woohoo! Okay, so what we want to do now is slowly heat that up and put it in a vessel for whipping in the morning. So you want to do that. Okay. Choose whatever fits. It's not touching anywhere, just whatever fits. This is a bowl for my mixer. Now, and we're going to just, this was a lot firmer the second time around. So that's interesting. Now I'm going to melt it down very slowly. There it is. So this is the pot to render in. It's very slow, very gentle. You can see the steam coming up from the water. It's a very gentle way with the cloth in there. Hi. Low flame. It's on high, but it's very low because it's very little. There it is, melting. So it's completely melted in there. I can take it out. Ouch. Oh, hang on. Here we have it. Gonna let it set because this is actually the mixing bowl for one of the mixing bowls for my KitchenAid, and I'm going to let it cool and set, and then tomorrow I'm going to whip that up into whipped tallow, and that's going to go for wash. Awesome. So it's all melted. Tomorrow I'm going to whip it in my stand mixer. So this is a bowl for my KitchenAid. I had warmed it up in here. I didn't need to, I really did that step for all the viewers. But now you certainly could pour it off into a jar or in whatever form you want. But I want to whip it, so I'm going to leave it in this jar, in this bowl, and use it tomorrow.